Nowadays, communication with people who don't have the same culture and the same language has become essential. The People's Republic of China is coming to life from a long cultural isolation, and given its incredible economic development, worldwide its role has become more important. The need to take economic and cultural exchanges with a population which is different from the West has increased. But if in Europe learning Chinese is always more fundamental, is there the same interest in foreign language learning on the other side of the world? First of all, a person's second language or L2 is a language that isn't the native language of speaker. It can be said to be any language learning in addition to one's native language. Its learning is influenced from several elements such as the learner's age, the socio-psychological context, and the linguistic distance between the mother tongue and the target language. Moreover, learning strategies and the role of the student and the teacher are likewise important. Regarding China, we can say it only recently has begun to engage with other countries. Chinese history shows us an essentially communist nation, where several emperors impeded freedom of their own people in various sectors. One of these is foreign language learning. Indeed, on the one side, Xenophones are reaching millennial traditions. On the other, we can note that this population is unaware of other cultures and other languages. The causes of this backwardness are several. Analyzing the detailed approach of Xenophone speakers towards other languages, a significant consideration is made about culture. Everybody considers the Chinese as shy and introverted people, and this behavior is also clear in L2 learning. In particular, Professor Magda Piatti wrote an article in which she compared Chinese and Western population. In her study, she confirmed that in the West, the most apparent features are freedom of expression, autonomy, and individual equality. Instead, in the East, Confucianism affects Chinese daily behavior in a crucial manner. Particularly, there is the fear of losing face. It is called mianzi in Mandarin, which can also be translated as dignity, prestige, and reputation. It is their main interest to be worried about what society thinks. Indeed, for a Chinese, it is fundamental to give a portrayal of himself in the most respectable way, giving priority to the community's needs rather than the personal ones. At a linguistic level, many people don't communicate with foreigners. Their learning begins and ends in a classroom, where the Chinese-born teacher doesn't encourage his own students to go one step further. In this regard, it is important to highlight the several used methods and the professor's rule. About these, Chinese and Westernists seem to be opposites. Generally, in the Chinese educational system, the grammar translation method is the most used for teaching foreign languages. This is based on grammar rules and exercise of translation with the aim of developing intellectual capacities for the comprehension of classical texts. As it happens during the acquisition of their mother tongue, writing is the leading factor in learning, while oral comprehension and speaking are in second place, and there is no particular attention for L2 pronunciation. According to Confucian tradition, the teacher is the source of knowledge and authority, and pupils carry out what is asked. Raising questions can annoy the educator, and asking for help publicly is considered as incompetence. So, in China, students cannot learn efficiently a foreign language, and considering their social-cultural futures, they prefer to not participate for the fear of making a mistake. A completely different education compared to the West, where teaching is focused on the learner and the professor's role is guiding, facilitating, and evaluating the work constantly. Indeed, in the West, the direct method is chosen, in which the main goal is acquiring a language as a means of communication. It is clear that in China, oral learning of a foreign language is completely overlooked. According to an article published by Michael Way, even if English has become a crucial language, not enough attention is given to pronunciation teaching, above all in Asian countries. The acquisition of the language phonetic system is the root of every intercommunication and affects the speech of each person. It should have a key role in the several steps of learning. In fact, Unintelligible pronunciation hinders communication with native speakers, even if learners have acquired considerable lexicon and grammar rules. In this way, there is a vicious circle which impedes their improvement in communication in other languages except Chinese. Concerning Italian, English, and French, there are difficulties above all in speaking. Indeed, the linguistic distance from L1 to L2 negatively affects the speaking and causes incomprehension among speakers. In order to improve communication, some techniques are needed to help students. In this regard, the Chinese Li Yang has become famous. He has conceived an approach to exceed cultural limits and to encourage pupils to learn English efficiently. Failing some exams, Li tried to use a method to learn this unknown language faster. He went to a park near the university and started reading some sentences aloud. Constantly exercising, his English level has improved, reaching excellent outcomes in a few months. Soon after, he understood this approach could be useful for millions of Chinese students who have difficulties like him. For several years, Li has organized meetings where he tries to motivate Sinophones to develop their linguistic skills. In so doing, he helps not only thousands of people to break through the fear of losing face, but he also denounced the wrong approach using in China for foreign languages teaching. In this specific field, some techniques are considered efficient. Particularly, learning a second language eases the skill transfer in a third language. Teamwork is essential, especially with L2 natives, and the teacher has an essential role in learning. In fact, his assignment is to encourage students to exercise also outside the school environment and make them understand that mistakes are an integral component of the process. The student is the cornerstone of learning, and the right strategies are necessary to exceed its cultural barriers.